Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name's Jimmy and this is Patriots Glow. Let me ask you a question. As a woodworker and doing things with everything square and maybe some angles, have you ever said, man, I wonder what it'd be like to make a bowl or make something cylindrical? Well, I know I have, and I know there are different ways of doing it. I've seen some of my fellow content creators creating bowls on miter saws, but that's something that I don't think I want to try, and more power to them. But in today's video, we are going to go ahead and show you a very possible way to start getting into the lathe business. What we did is we went ahead and purchased a $60, yes, a $60 mini lathe. I do have calipers of a higher caliper, but I went ahead and purchased a nice cheap set of calipers here for $7, and you can still get better ones than this for cheap, but I wanted to see how cheap we could actually keep this. We did go ahead and spend a little bit more money, almost as much money, on a set of tools, cutting tools. We spent $45 on the set of cutting tools to at least give this mini lathe a fighting chance. I do believe it comes with tools. Haven't opened anything up, so this is going to be an unboxing and test trial to see if for roughly $100, a little over $100, $110, whether we can get into the lathe game. Let's see if we can make, I don't know, make some woodenware, things like that. But I didn't have any of the capabilities of doing it other than whittling the wood. So now we're going to go ahead and try to do it here. For this, because I don't know how this is going to perform. The last time I used the lathe was about 2006. It was on metal and it was with actual tooling. So never before have I used a wood lathe or the tooling for that. So we are going to go ahead and use some pine. And this is a 2x4, I'm sorry, a 2x2 that was actually purchased out of cold lumber from Home Depot. And I actually have a video that I will go ahead and link everything here in the description box below. We have a couple of 2x2s here. We went ahead and just cut them down so that I know that we're going to have some type of limited space on how big these can actually be. So we might have to cut these down a little bit more. And we also have a piece of walnut. So I actually got this off of Temu for either relatively cheap or free because of all their different promotions that they have. So I do have this. I don't always recommend doing this, but this was purchased for an upcoming video on buying wood from Temu. Why you should, why you shouldn't. I always recommend that buy your wood from local vendors or even ordering it online, but US based companies, please. That's very important. But for the sake of these videos, I did purchase these, but this will be the only time I will purchase outside the US. This is all the main stuff that we're going to use. Now, I don't know for sure, but I'm going to guess this isn't going to have a very super wide base. So I went ahead and I have a piece of scrap wood that we have from a previous video. What will end up happening, I'm going to see if there's a way to attach this to this so that I have a wider base. So while it's spinning, it doesn't spin off the table here. So let's go ahead and get into it. Let's break it down, start opening everything up. This is super easy. Not going to show this. It looks like I have to actually put in the battery myself. So I'm probably not going to show you guys that, but we'll do this unboxing of the lathe and these tools. Like I said, a lot better tools. So hopefully they work out well. And everything that I purchased here, at least this tooling here, I will link all of those down in the description box so that if you want to purchase any of this, want to give it a try, you're able to. Or after we see what this lathe can do, you might not want to buy any of it, and it might have been a waste of money for me. So none of this is sponsored. If you could, please like, subscribe, share it with family and friends. Help me try to pay for what I spent on this. Let me grab you, spin you around, bring you over here, over my shoulder, maybe off to the side, because we all know my gigantic head blocks the camera 95% of the time. So let's get a Let's get all this broken up and pulled out. So I'm sure this goes without saying, but it is cheap, made out of plastic, but hey, it works. I did not have to install the battery, and I think it's going to get good measurements on everything. And right here, we're going to go ahead and double check, make sure this works. And we did get 2 inches. I checked the other side, and we also get 2 inches on the other side as well. So works out pretty good. All right, time for the fun stuff. We're going to go ahead and open up the box, pull everything out, and we'll start with pretending like we can read. And we're going to look at the pictures real quick and see if we like what we see. And we're going to probably chuck those to the side and close our eyes and wish for the best. It does come with tooling. Looks pretty cool. They're wrapped in leather. I don't know. It's coming apart. I don't know. No, it's just tied at the end here. Okay, that's fine. I don't know what I was thinking. So it does come with different tools. We'll take a look at those tools more in depth. So let's see here. It also comes with sandpaper. Looks like it does have little legs that come out here. Okay, all right, hold on. I mean, it seems to be okay. All right, so we will fast forward through some of this stuff, but I'm pulling everything else out of the packaging. The power supply, which that power supply does have a RPM controller on it, so that is really handy. It's right there, the big box. But I will also go through with some extra stuff that's in the packaging. You'll have sanding discs in there, some extra tools, and then we'll even have a way to hold those pieces of wood into the chuck, and I'll show you that as well. Let me see if I can get it close enough. All right, so these right here, I do believe these are going to go into the chuck and help hold your piece into place. There is a more aggressive one and then this finer one. So to start out with, we're going to use the more aggressive one because I'm nervous. I'm scared. A couple of things here. So there are going to be two different issues that you'll have with this. The first issue is going to be the length of the wood can only be 4.5 inches long, and then the width of these pieces, 2 inches was just about too much, but an inch actually runs perfectly on these. That 2 inches really won't even fit in there to run on there, but an 1.5 inches would. But when we go to run this, you'll kind of hear how loud it sounds. It's not really a good idea to run it that thick. All right, do a little spinning test, make sure that ain't gonna go nowhere. We'll lock that nut into place. Make sure it's not gonna come out and undone. All right, so here's the moment of truth. I'm gonna get behind a blast shield. Make sure those don't go flying off. Ugh. Ugh. What is that? In the name of science. Screw this down to my table. We're really gonna find out. I don't want to do this anymore. So right through here, I'm just trying to get kind of a handling on the way my hand placement should be and tool placement. And I also try a couple of different settings. Higher settings, it seems to cut pretty good. But if you dig in too much, it kind of rattles that piece off. So we stop, come here, start fixing the chuck up. Okay, so here's the thing. I went ahead and went to these full-size tools here, and I will definitely tell you, you have to run the speed a lot higher. And these tools, man, they are good tools, but this is not the machine to use these on. So don't waste your money. Don't buy these tools if this is all you have, unless you want to get a bigger lathe in the future. So please, don't use these bigger tools on here. Okay, so here we are with some walnut in there, and it runs and sounds a lot better. But have you ever heard the saying, curiosity killed the cat? Well, guess what? I don't care, and I'm still using these bigger tools because I want to know. And I'm just going to tell you, it's a bad idea. You don't need to do it. It bogs down the machine, and you don't really get anywhere extra, anyways. There you have it. The one Swan mini lathe, does it work? Yes. The parts that you have to use have got to be, I'd say, 1 inch by 1 inch. The 2 inch by, 1.5 by 1.5 inch is just slightly too big, but the 1 inch absolutely performed beautifully, perfectly. So the things that you're going to be able to actually do on this are going to be limited. I think it's really cool. Is it something that you can make small parts out with? Yes, definitely. So if you want to get into the lathe business, if you want to try to start seeing how it works, the best ways to do things, just basically starting your skills, is it something feasible? Yeah, I think it'll be really cool. There might be a few things that I use this for, but in the grand scheme of things, am I going to use it for a lot of stuff? No, probably not. But there are things that this can be used for. Pick it up at your own discretion. It's, like I said, $60 lathe, $7 set of calipers. I didn't even end up using. But, I mean, obviously, that's what calipers are normally used for, is to just go ahead and measure this out. I think it's really cool. It's really neat. I would even say, they do have these sanding discs and everything that come with it. Throwing a sanding disc on here and just using it as a sander, that's something else that you can do. I think it is a really cool, neat little toy. There you go. One thing I will say is that using full-size lathe tools is not going to be a thing. I'm sure you can get these mini lathe tools on Amazon. I'll look if I can find some and link them in the description box below as well. But definitely recommend the mini lathe tools. These larger lathe tools, they work. I mean, it'll be in the video. They do work. It's just this does not have the power to take off how much one of these tools is wanting to take off. Now, some of your other tools that you're cutting finer cuts into it, those work perfectly fine. Doesn't bog the machine down or anything. But that is something that you have to take into consideration when getting this. But once you have a full size lathe, if you decide to do that, then you'll have your full-size tools to go along with that. Definitely something that you want to check out if you want to start doing any lathe work. Like I said, I think it's pretty cool. You can check it out. Doesn't cost a lot of money. We're at a little over $110, but please like, share, subscribe, and I hope to catch you guys in the next video.